tried to talk louder this time because I reminded myself that I should start talking louder in the videos when my camera's sitting all the way over there. But this is episode 3. Surprise, kind of the same thing. I'm going over some little tech tips though. I'm gonna finish taking this motor apart. I haven't fully finished. I started cleaning before I got my hoist out. I need to get my hoist out, lift it up, and take the front and rear mains out fully so I can get the crank dropped. And then I can go over everything that I'm doing with that motor. Specifically, this motor's never been ran before. I put it together, I think 6-7 years ago, which I think the first video I was talking about a little bit. I put it together 6 or 7 years ago for my Monte Carlo, and then didn't run it in that. I had a 70 C10 that I was just gonna throw that in and put a big turbo on it and call it, you know, and see what happens with it. But I got rid of that C10. It had some pretty bad rust issues. And so I left the Monte Carlo apart, which is now my cousin's car. You know, he's gonna start putting it all together, and he's our special guest later today. Should be here today and later today. And yeah, I can kind of go over what I'm doing to this motor right now. It's really just freshening up. I'm putting everything back in it that came out of it, and I was going to put different pistons in it to try to go for a higher compression, but it's already like 9-to-1, and with a blower on E85, that's kind of perfect. You know, in case I want to turn it up a little bit, I have that freedom to do so without being crazy on the motor, having to go with some crazy race gas. Like I said, I wanted to be able to do drag and drive with this car, and if it's on, you know, some crazy methanol or something like that, it'll be tough, you know, to find gas. And stuff's moving around because it's windy. Might be losing tools. But yeah, I can kind of go over this motor, everything I've done so far, and what I'm doing right now. Just doing some little, you know, cleanup stuff before I take it to the machine shop. The ARP main studs I had in it, I untorqued them, took them all out. ARP studs are reusable, if you didn't know that. So I took those out. I'm gonna clean them up because they've been sitting in there for a while. Make sure I'm getting all that old ARP glue off, that ARP lube that they want you to put on everything, because it dries up and it seats kind of like a black RTV, but maybe it is a black RTV. It just comes off a little easier than normal black RTV. But yeah, I'm gonna get all those cleaned up so the machinist doesn't have to worry about it, and have them all nice and ready to go when he re-torques it down. Because when line hone is basically going straight through the center. I don't know why I'm showing it. I can show you on the motor, so I'll do that right now actually. So this is kind of where I've gotten so far. Those are the pistons and rods. Some Molly pistons, Eagle rods. I know the internet has said the Eagle rods are kind of crap. I mean, they've been around forever. I don't really, you know, I trust them. I'm going to try to reuse the bearings. They're in okay shape. But when I had the motor done, I had it balanced and polished, and it's the factory crank, just forged rods and pistons. I had it polished, and I had it brought 30 over, I believe, if I remember right. So it's a 370 cubic inch motor. So yeah, today I'm gonna get these other mains out there still holding the crank in. I didn't have my hoist easily accessible because of all the crap in my shop, but now it's very accessible because I've cleaned quite a bit of this up already, and I think it's the videos that have helped me to clean it, because I'm self-conscious about showing my dirty shop to everybody on the internet. So I've cleaned it up quite a bit, as much as I can easily get to right now before some of the cars are out. And there's still one little spot that I'm gonna avoid showing because it makes me angry. I'm gonna work on that though later today. You know, not want to get on video or anything, but yeah. So basically what I'm just going through here and doing is cleaning up all of these parts. So I have the nuts here. These are the side bolts that go through, just get a little torque. And then the studs, the actual studs, are over on my toolbox. I'm gonna hit them with a brush, make sure I'm getting all of that old ARP lube off, so he's not torquing it down with that old stuff in there. or gets angry that he has to clean it out himself. So I'll go ahead and clean all that up, and I'll do another little time-lapse video with some funky music, because I had a few people say y'all like the funky music I found. Hopefully it's DMCA free. I googled it. We're gonna hope. If you don't see the channel anymore, well, you know why. And in that case, donate to your boy, because I might need some money for the lawyers. No, just kidding. But yeah, I'll get some funky music going and have a little time lapse of me cleaning this up just for a little bit. My cousin should be here a little bit later, and get him introduced, and probably gonna work on cleaning the shop. That was one thing I was gonna say before I moved away. If I can get this car moved over that way more, that's the, in between the two cars is the part I don't want anybody to see right now. And kind of there, but I mean, that's just, I gotta find another place for all that stuff. But if I can get that car moved over towards the Chevelle close enough, because the Chevelle won't be getting worked on. So if I can get that moved over far enough, I might have enough room for this body, and I can set it there. And then next week, next week I can start recording videos of me putting the brake lines and all that stuff in. That'll be a little bit more exciting to watch than me cleaning bolts up today. I can kind of go over, you know, running brake lines and things like that. It's a super simple process. So, but yeah, I'll get this time lapse going. All right, so after not too long, maybe 20 minutes, got these things looking brand new. Got all the gunk out of them and all this old stuff out of the threads, so it should be ready to go to the machine shop. Next, I'm just going to do a little bit of work on the pistons. Not too much, really just taking a Scotch-Brite to some of the surface rust on the outside of them. Which isn't really super necessary unless it's like terrible, which mine aren't. There's just a few little spots of it being sitting there. I mean, like that. You know, nothing damaging or crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna do that and check back in with you. All right, I told you I'd have a special guest here. This is the first action of him being on camera. It's my cousin Austin. He's gonna pitch this extension cord over this door because I want lights over next to my toolbox. So here we go. This is about the 5th try. Yeah. We've only hit the Jeep about 4 times, Kevin. It's fine.
Oh yeah, that's when you can talk and they really get loud.
Something happened.
Yeah, they were just lug nuts.
Oh, and we do have the boss of the shop here today. This is Noah. Can you gritty?
I can.
I don't know.
Shit this thing.
Is it not?
I think I'm gonna zip tie it over and throw the pole over.
Gritty. You don't want a gritty.
Ah! Oh God! Not good at this, alright?
I'll come back to you when it's ready.
Oh!
My ladies and gentlemen,
Cowboy!
You just aired the place out. Boom. Got it done. Now we got to up over the door. It was all Noah. We just picked him up and tossed him over.
Yep. It's the only logical thing.
Yeah, he was crawling over the door. I saw it. It was crazy. Thanks, Noah. All right, so cousin just left. He helped me get that extension cord up around the door so I could have some plugins next to my toolbox. Instead of having all of my drill batteries and stuff in this little office, I can start putting it over there and have some light over there. Yeah, he just left. I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Tomorrow I'll be back out here and it'll just move over to tomorrow. I'll get to working on taking that motor apart. We were gonna do it tonight, but my cousin actually streams gaming and I'm going to play with him for a little bit. And I'll put his link down below if anybody's watching likes video games. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna finish up taking this motor apart and getting it kind of cleaned up a little bit before I get it ready to be shipped off to the old machinist. I'm gonna try to do that next week or the week after. Just depends on how many pennies I can save up. But yeah, tomorrow I might do a little bit more cleaning too. So I just kind of organized one of my tool deals and took some tape off. I can kind of show you. So this was a just kind of where I put some more specific tools. So I just kind of labeled everything, missing a tap set because the one I had was garbage. So I'm gonna get an actual good tap set, but yeah, just some extra tools. But yeah, I guess I could show you. I've never showed you the toolbox area. It's kind of dark now, but you can kind of see it. But yeah, cleaned it up. It used to just be full of tools. This is my little tool cart. I found that if I just keep things in my toolbox, I'll never put them back. I just have an issue with that. So I put everything in a cart and just kind of roll it around. All my major stuff I need, sockets and wrenches, and then all my, you know, extra stuff, magnets and finders and things like that. But these are my two toolboxes that I have, a really old Craftsman and this here. So I got the appeal to heaven flag. But yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow and we'll get that motor taken apart. Please, it's a little bit longer video for you guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. All right, what's going on, everybody? This is the second day, Sunday, to come back out here just to get a little bit more stuff done. Really just to get this motor fully apart. Just kind of was talking about yesterday. All I really need to do is get it on the hoist and get this rear main cover off and get the last two mains out of it, the front and rear main out of it. So I can drop the crank out of it and it'll be stripped bare. So it'll be ready to go. So I need to get that off, the rear main cover. And then my final two mains, which, you know, they're still bolted in with just the side bolts just to hold the crank in there. So yeah, we'll get that started and we'll get the hoist, get it up there and get those off, and we'll record me trying to manhandle this crank out of here. Their cranks are super heavy and awkward to carry, so I've had to do it a few times. I can actually show you some carnage. I haven't brought my Trailblazer up here yet or shown it on video. I need to. I don't like bringing it up here. There's a gravel road that runs all the way down to the shops, and just flings gravel onto the side of my Trailblazer. It's not, you know, it's not like the car's in perfect paint condition, but still, it's like I notice a new scratch every time I come out here. So, but I can show you the carnage actually. So it spun a bearing in 2019, I think, and it took me a while to get it back together just because, you know, other things, life and stuff. But I finally got it in here and got the motor pulled out, got it sent off. It needed a new rod, which, you know, a new rod and a new crank, which was kind of obvious. But I put that in there. It's the stock LS2. I just put up a BFD Monster Chop cam. I was trying to remember which one I put in there, but it's Texas Speed cam. And it has the same tune on it that was from my old cam, which was a boost cam. So it sounds really good, but it needs a tune, which eventually I will do. I wanted to do turbos in that thing, which I will later on. Never selling that car, or that Trailblazer. I'm saying it on video so I don't do it, because then everybody's got to hold me to it, but I can't sell that one. I've had it for so long, it's, you know, just kind of part of the arsenal now. But I can show you the carnage. I actually still have the crank in here. Let me turn the light on. But yeah, so I can't remember which journal. No, yeah, it's that one. Don't know if you can see that, but yeah, there's a huge bump there. It should be flat, you know, even with that little wear line in there that's just, you know, wipes off. It should be flat. This is a, yeah. And that is what happens when a bearing spins on the rod and covers the oil hole. It goes through the crank, so oil cannot get in there to allow free lubrication. I got off the highway. I had noticed like it was squeaking on startup. I was leaving the movie theater actually. It was squeaking on startup. I was like, that's weird. And you know, unfortunately in my brain, it's like the back of my brain knew it was a bearing squeak, but the front of my brain was like, oh, that's a belt, it's fine. It wasn't a belt. Made it down the highway. Since on LS's the oil pump is crank driven, it just sits on the crank. It still maintained oil pressure, so my gauge read a little low, but it wasn't crazy when I was maintaining, you know, 2,500 RPM on the highway. And then as soon as I let off to drop RPM to get off of the highway, it dropped to about 10 pounds of oil pressure. And then by the time I made the turn, it was at about 7 before I cut it off. So that was, you know, that's what happens. It can destroy some steel. And but we got that fixed. I'm gonna get it on video one day. But yeah, let's get this thing taken apart. All right, so this is where we got the rear main off. Got the crank exposed. I think I'm just gonna leave it in here. I was gonna take it out and set it down somewhere, but there's no need to. I can do that whenever I take it to the machinist. But yeah, it's gonna get all cleaned up and all that refreshened. So I gotta get some of this RTV material off, but yeah, probably gonna do that here in a minute. But yeah, so thanks for watching this episode. Hopefully by next episode I'm gonna come up with some other stuff. I'm gonna get that dolly designed. I keep saying design like it's something I'm coming up with something new. It's not. I'm just getting a dolly to be able to roll the body around. Have it ready so when I've got the room for it I can do that. Like I said, I might actually clean out that other side of the Monte Carlo so I can move it over. Maybe have some room to put it. Maybe do it next weekend. We'll see. It depends on how my work week goes. My work week's tough. Sometimes I just come out here and do some easier stuff and relax. So like I said, I do have a full-time job other than this, so I get tired sometimes. But yeah, thanks for watching this episode. I will see you all next week.